What's going on, guys? This is Mr. Teej66's movie reviews. I am Mr. Teej. I had to get a new camera, as you can see. I don't know if you can tell or not, but my old phone decided to crap out on me, so I had to buy a new phone. So, gonna be a little more basic this time around, or probably for the foreseeable future. But anyway, today's movie review is 1989's Batman. I'm Batman. I just love that line so much. It's one of the most unforgettable lines of my childhood. But, how does this movie stack up? Because I saw this in the theaters. I remember vividly seeing this movie in the theaters, and, you know, it was just a different time. That's one thing you people have to understand, is, especially younger people, that this was a different time. You know, superhero movies were not very common. As unbelievable as it may seem, you know, the only one that had really been around was probably Superman. Was actually the Superman films from 1978 starring Christopher Reeve. But other than that, I mean, there was a couple of attempts at comic book films, like Supergirl and Swamp Thing. I love Swamp Thing. That's another review I'll be doing someday. But, you know, and Supergirl is a piece of shit. But how does this movie stack up? I mean, I loved it when I was a kid, so is that nostalgic factor. But I'd say it's pretty good. It's directed by Tim Burton. I mean, even kids today know who Tim Burton is. But at the time, he'd only done Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Beetlejuice, which were two fantastic films. But they didn't really scream out like Batman. But he did a fantastic job directing this movie. It's very stylish, very dark, you know. It's a Tim Burton movie through and through. I mean, I guess Batman Returns, the next film, is a little more Tim Burton, but his stamp is still all over this movie. Gothic architecture, dark themes, a loner, you know, outsider. I mean, I guess he said that Batman, he didn't read a lot of comic books when he was a kid, but Batman was one of his favorites because, you know, it's a very dark, very, you know, psychologically driven story, and he would always relate to that one. And, of course, we have to talk about the cast. Michael Keaton, to this day, I still think Michael Keaton is the best Batman. Some people may think, you know, it's Christian Bale, but for me, Michael Keaton all the way. And I just think it's just because the fact that the film doesn't really, you know, give him or really concentrate on him that much. He's more of a loner. He's more in the shadows. But it's one thing I love, it's ambiguity, you know. I mean, just the fact that you don't know that much about him. You know, he keeps to the shadows. He keeps to himself. It's so much more interesting sometimes than having, you know, 2 hours of backstory, you know, which can be good. It can be, you know, make us understand this character. But I think, you know, less is more sometimes. And it's just the eyes, you know, especially when he's Batman. You know, he is still the best, especially at playing Batman, you know. He has those cold, piercing eyes which can stare right through you. I mean, it's absolutely frightening. I mean, the criminals just say they're scared of him, and I believe them, because he is a wraith in this movie. The way he flaps his cape around, you know, just absolutely unforgettable. The Batmobile, too. How can I not talk about the Batmobile? Still my favorite Batmobile. Again, it might also be because I saw this when I was a kid, but I mean, that jet flame coming up the back, you know, it's almost like a Bond car. It's got, you know, machine guns coming out the sides. It's got bombs that drop. It's got grappling hooks. I mean, it is just, when it flies down the road, I mean, it leaves an impression with Danny Elfman's music. Oh, how can we not talk about Danny Elfman's music? Still one of the great superhero scores of all time. If I have any beef with today's superhero films, it's that the music is just garbage. It's always generic, you know, just, it's nothing you can hum, like, or want to even, like, buy the soundtrack or something. Elfman's music is just beautiful. It is so dark, it is so melodic. Thank you, that's the word I'm looking for. That, you know, I listen to that theme all the time, and that main theme still gives me chills. And I've saved probably the best for last, and that is Jack Nicholson as the Joker. Some people say it's typecasting. You know what? It probably is, but goddamn, he is the man as the Joker. I mean, laughing it up. I mean, well, you could argue it's just Jack being Jack, and you would be completely right, but he's just so much fun to watch. There's a part where he uses a hand buzzer to shock a guy to death. He's just laughing it up as this poor guy is, like, you know, being burned from the inside out. I mean, it is overacting at the absolute best, you know. Maybe not Heath Ledger, you know, like, probably psychologically Heath Ledger is a more interesting character, but Nicholson, I think, goes past him for just sheer fun and just sheer watchability. You know, this movie it's very much a product of the 80s, but I don't think it's a bad thing, you know. I mean, it comes up as a period film a little bit, but, you know, Tim Burton style I don't think ever really dates. I mean, people love gothic castle, you know, gothic, you know, architecture and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, this movie is still a blast to watch. Were I to rate it? Ooh, that's just such a hard one. I'm probably going to have to go, like, maybe a 7.6. No, I'll say a 7.8. I'll say a 7.8. It is dated, you know. The Nolan films are probably superior character and story-wise, but this is still a blast. This and Batman Returns. I'd certainly rather watch these than the piles of shit that were Batman Forever and Batman and Robin by Joel Shitmaker. Ooh. But anyway, that's my review. Thank you all for watching. This is Mr. Teej66, and I will see you next time.